What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's one, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the portal and go ahead and throw my 2 cents into the conversation about it. I know I'm a bit late, but I just recently got back into making videos, so here we are. Um, First and foremost, I know that the quality of the microphone still sucks. I tinkered around with it in some audio software to try to make it sound better, and no bueno. It just will not basically sound good no matter what I do. It's just a cheap headset mic, so I didn't really expect anything anyway. So sorry for that. However, I did manage to render the video in 2K or 1440p quality. So, a little TLDR there. Basically, if you upload a video to YouTube at 1080p, even if it's literally lossless quality, YouTube will give you a shitty encoder and basically make the quality of the video look terrible. So I went ahead and rendered it in 2K, and that will force a higher encoder on YouTube, and it should make the quality of the video actually look good. Because yesterday, after I uploaded that video and I looked at it on YouTube, I was like, wow, because I had the file and I was looking at the video on my computer and I was looking at the video at 1080p on YouTube and I was very disappointed. So anyways, I didn't fix the mic issue, which I will in the future. I would like to invest and get a better microphone and, increase the quality of the YouTube video. But as far as the video, I at least did improve the quality of that, so we did something. So thumbs up. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the portal. Enough ranting about that. I actually don't hate the portal. I think it was a good concept. I think that it was just half-baked and it had some flaws with it that they needed to iron out. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with some things they've done recently that actually were really good. So basically, there was a patch like a couple weeks ago. Prior to that, when you would actually apply negative modifiers to an activity, it would also directly increase the enemy combatant power level, and that sucked. I remember earlier on in Edge of Fate leveling, we would have to go like negative 40 or 50 under to get a high enough grade, so that way we could get decent loot, and that felt really bad. Now they have it so that these negative modifiers do not affect enemy power level, they just affect the score multiplier, which is really good. I do like that change a lot. That was very nice. Also, I gotta give them credit where credit is due. The power grind is much, much nicer. Pre-Ash and Iron, I actually did get to 450, and I have to say that that was painful. Like, very, very bad. Um, it was not fun at all. 400 to 450 specifically was really bad. Like, it took a lot longer. It definitely took longer to get from 400 to 450 than it took to get from 10 to 400, without a doubt. Um, it was just really bad. And also, for whatever reason, pre-Ash and Iron, um, when you would go ahead and play PvP at 450, the game would just like shit out tier 5s. But when you played PvE, even on the highest difficulty, which back then would have been Grandmaster, before Ultimate was available, you could not actually get consistent tier 5s in PvE, which was kind of whack. So yeah, I do like a lot of the changes they've made to the power grind. It feels much better. It's going by much quicker. PvE is now shitting out tier 5s, getting a lot of powerful drops. It's really good. I like all the changes they did with that. Now let's go ahead and start to talk about some of the unfortunate things about the portal. First off, I think that it was extremely half-baked. So essentially everything inside the portal is old content. The only exception are some missions. Oops, sorry. Sorry if the microphone is getting kind of crazy. The only new things in the portal are several missions that came out with Ash and Iron, the 3 reclaim missions. Um, First of all, those were an extreme letdown. People thought that if they were going back to the Plaguelands, that Siva might be there or something interesting, but honestly, the reclaim missions are kind of lame. In other words, there's really not a lot going on there. Uh, it's just not it, Chief. Um, and aside from that, literally everything else in the portal is old content. Most of the things in the portal are content that is several years old or older. So we just gotta let that sink in. I think that there needed to be new content for sure. Um, it was pretty bad. I think that we needed new content with Edge of Fate in the portal. I think that running around Kepler is just. I mean, who's really doing that? I think people go to the loot cave to get tier 5s now, and that's about it. I don't think many people are exploring Kepler outside of the people who just want to, like, take in the scenery or, like, the Triumph Hunters. Outside of that, I don't think many people are there. I think that most people are in the portal and most people are in solo ops, unfortunately. I think now after the changes, people are starting to kind of venture out into the fire team ops, but I think that, you know, there was too much incentive to play solo and just run solo ops endlessly because it was just so efficient, and I think that that's kind of like ingrained in people's brains now to just like keep running solo ops just to get the power up because that's essentially all the game really was just power grinding. And I think the portal was just really half baked. There's just too much content in the game that is not in the portal. In the grand scheme of things, I think like only about a quarter of the game, maybe a little bit more of it, is actually inside the portal. And that's really bad because the portal is like the new thing. It's what Bungie wants you to do, and you can only earn tiered loot inside the portal. You can't get it outside the portal, so like why would you go to like do any other dungeon or raid outside the portal? There's really no point. There's no point doing missions outside the portal. It's like the portal. You want to do the portal to get tiered loot and climb power. I think that it was half baked because I think a lot of content should have been inside the portal at the launch of Edge of Fate, and I think that they kind of missed that one pretty significantly. Um, yeah, so there needed to be more content inside the portal that's already in the game, and on top of that, they needed to actually create new content and also put that in the portal as well. Unfortunately, that just did not happen. You know, they went ahead and put in like specific dungeon encounters from 3 different dungeons inside the portal. That's not enough. Also, another big thing is loot incentive. Where is the loot? Like, I was really crossing my fingers when they added these dungeon encounters that they were going to add tiered dungeon loot corresponding to those specific dungeons with them as well. They didn't even do that. So, yeah, unfortunately, they really missed the ball with that one. I think that we need way more loot inside the portal. We need more of the game inside the portal. There needs to be more incentive to do it. And honestly, I need to make a video and go into depth with that more. But for now, like, it was just very half-baked and kind of unfortunate. Um, but yeah, I do like the concept of the portal though. I like its ease of access. I like how you can change up the modifiers. I like how you can matchmake for specific missions that you want to. However, there just needs to be more in there. It's just really a lack of content, a lack of loot, and a lack of incentive in there. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make another video going into more detail about that probably at some point. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. It's been almost 10 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay frosty.